would you guys hire 𝗪𝗓𝗧𝗪?
I would say if hell froze over, we would consider it. I think Caleb and Dave are so at odds with their principles, their values, their faith, the way they carry themselves, their mission, their goals, that it would not make sense. To work here, you have to have a similar like mind, similar values, and Caleb just doesn't have those. It's not a knock against Caleb, but, we don't have that type of content around here, and we have a different mission.
When you say that type of content, what is the main thing you're thinking of?
I would say the cussing, it's not family friendly. We have a set of values that are faith-based that I think would be jarring for Caleb to then adhere to or grapple with in this building. And our mission is not to scale at all costs, which I think Caleb is he's a young entrepreneurial guy. He wants to scale and there's not much stopping him. And this place has been around for 30-something years. We have 1,000 people. We represent something kind of bigger than us. And we're not willing to, kind of water that down to get more clicks and views, which Caleb would obviously get. The guy crushes it. But to us, it's not worth it. And that's why we don't do that style of content.
What do you think Caleb is doing right?
What he's doing right? I mean, creating crazy engaging content while sneaking in the teaching. So he's leaning into the edutainment where he's teaching you about taxes while yelling at the person, and you just learned about how tax brackets work in the meantime. That I think he does really well. But I can't watch the content because I have children at home, and so I'd have to have headphones on at all times to engage in any of it.
At what age would you let your kids watch 𝗪𝗓𝗧𝗪?
Oh gosh, I wouldn't. Left to my own devices, I wouldn't. Now, if they go off and they're doing their own thing and they choose, at some point you can't control what they're going to watch on the internet. I would hope I raised them enough to go, hey, you don't want that kind of filth in your brain, And I was on Caleb's show. I left needing to take a shower after that. It was just woof. I'm too much of a prude, I guess, to be in that world. So, my kids watch Blippi, and I already don't like that.
What do you think we can improve on?
I think you guys, what you've done well is sort of let anybody in, which is really nice that it's an open forum essentially. You guys stay very curious. I think what you could do is have a sort of a stance, have a foundational principles that you got that's clear to the audience of here's what we believe, and therefore that's the basis for the discussion.
I'm so fluid with a lot of these things, though, that I don't have very firm beliefs on a lot of things, and I'm open to hearing.
You're telling me I
could
convince you to cut up all of your credit cards and pay off all of your debt in one discussion?
You could convince me. I'm not saying you will convince me, but you theoretically could convince me. If I hear another viewpoint that I'm like, wait a second, that actually makes a lot of sense. Maybe I'm incorrect.
Yeah. Graham is oddly fluid sometimes, but also I would say you're also very hard-headed. And very stubborn with some stances that
you're
take.
A sucker for logic, and it's all about the logic.
Yeah,
right.
So that's why I think I don't know what I don't know.
And I think the I guess the blind side, if there was one, would be the reality and emotional and psychological side of the principles that we teach. That's the hard part to just rattle out there of well, you'd feel better if you didn't have a mortgage. Yeah, but I could make $100,000 if I kept it. I'm well, yeah, but you'd feel better. Psychologically, emotionally.
I feel better with $100,000 though.
That's the question mark. So you're not willing to try it, to see what it's like.
Because I can't reverse that. Once I pay off the 2.875% mortgage.
You're a smart guy. You'll figure it out. You'll arbitrage it. You'll box spread it.
I can't
You'll options call it.
I can't get that again.
See, that's a short-sighted mentality. It's going to limit you in life. Think big.
I think thinking big is not paying off the mortgage.
Jack, agree, disagree?
I think if in a perfect world, yes, it makes more sense to not pay it off. I agree. Because I think one is subject to, you're adding a layer of complexity, which is someone's emotions and feelings. If you remove that and it's just
by perfect world, you mean if you could control every single variable in your life without fail, then it works.
Yeah, I would say in a vacuum, it makes more sense to take on the debt.
Would you say we exist outside of a vacuum?
Yeah. And it also depends how far you want to expand outside of that vacuum. So if you're going to go 10 layers deep, and you add complexities in your life, and then you add emotions, and you add this, and you add that, and you add maybe someone who has a more flippant nature, and they were raised a certain way, then they have addictive personality. Then yeah, it doesn't make sense. But I don't think that it's necessarily black or white. I think that it depends on how many of your variables you can control. For example, for me, I do not even check my portfolio daily. Like, I don't do that. I don't stay super close to my money. I don't idolize money. I just try to do whatever I think is the most rational thing. And so for me, I'll keep my sub 3% interest rate debt because it just makes sense, and I'm aggressively investing into the markets. I don't check my accounts daily. I don't have like some crazy theme that I try to adhere to in my portfolio. And it's worked out very well for me. And I agree with the math. The math agrees with me. But I'm also like weird because I'm a little sociopathic in that sense. Like I don't care as much, I think.
Yeah. Well, we can agree on that he's sociopathic.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great way to wrap.
Yeah.
Ending on Jack is a sociopath. That's your tag.
One last question for you, though.
Yeah.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, selling a covered call.
I don't even know enough about that to give you a yes or no, but I'm going to say no because I don't know how to do it.
Do you think it's possible that Jack would be able to make 3% a week selling covered calls?
Not consistently.
How do you know that?
Because if he could,
I agree with George.
Everybody would be doing it. And it's so easy to do the math. Well, if I just sports bet and I make 5% per day, if that compounds, I'll have $1 million by the end of the year. The problem is the house always wins and there's still risk involved and you're not going to bat 1,000 in the financial world. And so therefore, I think it's a simpler, I'd rather just leave the money in an index fund and eventually you'll have enough. And even paying off the mortgage, to your point, let's just say you're going to have plenty of money. Even if you pay off the mortgage, you're going to have more money than you could ever spend in a lifetime. What's the point of having a little extra money right now? You have plenty.
Well, if I had all of the money in the world, then I would pay off the mortgage. Yeah.
But do you have enough to pay it off right now?
Yep.
So why won't you?
Because I don't have all of the money in the world.
What happens if you pay off the mortgage right now? Are you broke?
No, I'm not broke. The way that I see it is that there are certain like tiers of wealth. And once you check those boxes, once you elevate to that level, let's just say a net worth of $5 million. Once you hit $5 million, then you have a new tier of FU money. It's not quite FU money, but it's the amount of money that you need in order to raise a family of 4 comfortably in most locations in the world, right? And so like, I kind of want to race to this new tier. And then once I get there, I'll be selfish enough to pay off my mortgage because that reduces the emotional toll of having a mortgage. I'll be selfish enough to spend a little bit more on clothes, to do other things that I wouldn't normally do. But right now, I feel like I need to be a little bit more selfless and do the thing that might be a little bit more uncomfortable to be financially advantageous to then get to that point of being able to take care of my family better.
Okay, we'll play back the clip. He said once he gets there, you'll do it.
Pay off my mortgage?
$5 million net worth, you'll pay off.
I would not pay it off at $5 million.
You just told me you would.
Well, I would start enjoying other things. Yeah.
You just told me if you got to this point, then you would do it.
No, I said all of the money in the world.
No, you said 5.
And then the way that
you did say 5.
That's a wrap.
Did I say 5? Did I say 5? I said 5, but that was after I said all of the money. I said there are different tiers.
Yes,
once you hit 5.
This is sociopathic behavior. Wow. Well, thanks,
Pathological
guys.
liar.
Is that how we end this episode? That's how you want to wrap?
We can tell them about our credit idea, Jack.
No, I don't want to hear about that. I'm not going to invest. I'm not your Shark Tank.
Do you want to say it's
easy
really
3% a week if you invest?
You couldn't tempt me. Everything you guys are saying is just making me want to run the other way.
What if we offered equity?
In Iced Coffee Hour?
No, in our credit idea.
Yikes, no. I'll take equity in Iced Coffee Hour.
Well, if you want to check out our credit startup, guys, we're going to leave it more mysterious. It's incredible.
Check out my debit startup.
It's in the description.
Yeah.
You're going to click it to see what it is.
I don't co-sign any of this, by the way.
Now, I'm sure I don't need to say this, but buying a home is usually one of the largest and most important financial decisions you'll ever make. And with rates moving around, it's easy to feel the pressure to act fast. But the truth is, the right time to buy or refinance is when you're financially ready.
That's why today's sponsor, Churchill Mortgage, stands out. They're not a transactional lender. They're a trusted guide focused on helping you build a smart, long-term plan for homeownership.
And what really makes Churchill different is their focus on readiness. They walk you through your entire financial picture and help you understand what you could truly afford, not just what you could qualify for. It's way more than just a mortgage. It's a strategy.
And we've actually had Dave Ramsey on the podcast before, so we've talked firsthand about his philosophy around debt-free living and financial peace. Churchill has been his trusted mortgage company for over 30 years, which says a lot about how aligned they are with that long-term planning.
They also have a 4.9 rating on Google and were named the Newsweek top nationwide mid-size lender based on client ratings. That kind of trust doesn't happen by accident. So if you're thinking about buying a home or financing, get a customized plan built around your goals at churchillmortgage.com/coffee.
Again, that is churchillmortgage.com/coffee to learn more and to see what the smarter mortgage looks like for you. This is a paid advertisement. NMLS ID 1591 NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, Equal Housing Lender.